Let's start with the biggest game on Sunday, in my opinion. Bills beat the Lions 48-42. Josh Allen had 4 combined touchdowns, broke Detroit's 11-game win streak, and Jared Goff has now lost a game while throwing 5 touchdowns and won a game while throwing 5 interceptions. I don't even know how to make sense of all that. But what was your biggest takeaway from this one?
All right, my biggest takeaway, and I'd love for you
Let's
to
get on
bleep this
track.
because I think there are children that listen to this show, but Josh motherfucking Allen. I mean, how about those Bills?
The alien.
Pick your poison with these guys. He didn't even throw a pass. He didn't even attempt one to Amari Cooper, right? It was Ty Johnson out of the backfield. It was Keon Coleman with the 64-yarder down the field. It was Kincaid back in the lineup. We had the spectacular, not being talked about enough, Dawson Knox one-handed catch in the fourth quarter.
Sick catch.
Mac Hollins making the play, a cool play. Dan Campbell calls the onside kick with 12 minutes left in the fourth. Interesting. Mac tips it up to himself, returns it to the 5-yard line. Here's what I'm going to say about the Bills. They have scored 30-plus points in their last 8 games.
Yep.
The Chiefs have not scored over 30 points all year. I'm going to leave that one there, and you can do that with that what you may. But the offense is obviously not what concerns me about the Bills right now, Whit. But with a different brand of football being played in the playoffs, this is what I want to throw to you. The Bills are now one of only 5 teams in NFL history to score 30-plus points in 8 straight games. Let me give you the other 4. 2000 Rams, 2007 Patriots, 2010 Patriots, 2013 Broncos.
Yep.
What do those 4 teams have in common? And we'll keep the Bills aside for now. They all had Hall of Fame quarterbacks.
And they all didn't win the Super Bowl, Fitz.
And all of them didn't win the Super Bowl.
I don't know if that makes you happy or sad, though.
Well, I'm just saying that it's great that they've got their streak, that they're scoring points like crazy. But Whit, you tell me about this defense, because this is 2 weeks in a row where it's been a sieve.
Yeah, I think that's the thing that concerns you. And I said it, really last week. I don't want to live in a world where I know it's fun to watch and I know it's exciting and it's probably what's going to, put him in the MVP. Really, he's the front runner right now, and I think he's going to end up being the MVP of the league. And Josh Allen, I think it's going to help him do that. But I don't know that's going to win playoff football, and I don't know if it's going to win you a Super Bowl, because when you look at it, 2 weeks in a row, you've basically had to score 45 points or more to win a game. I mean, you're 1-1 in 2 games, and you're averaging 45 points the last 2 weeks. That to me makes me pretty nervous. I mean, the Bills joined the 1966 New York Giants as the only teams in NFL history to score 40-plus points and give up at least 40 points in consecutive games.
Those pesky Giants of 66, man.
Come on, great team. But listen, to me, it's that. It's can this team find those moments? You saw Ed Oliver had some moments early in the game yesterday. Yeah. He was really, honestly, probably the one guy that stuck out to me up front for them defensively. But when you get into the playoffs, you think of the moments that the Chiefs have had with Chris Jones and different guys making plays. I even think of Frank Clark, some of the big moments he had in their playoff runs. Can Von Miller have some of those moments for them? It hasn't been his best the last 2 years after being injured. We were kind of hoping we'd see some more. Seem little glimpses at times, but it just isn't there. And then Greg Rousseau at times shows up, but they're going to have them. Now, here's the good thing, because you've touched on this Chiefs offense and the inability of them to score points and all that. You've said it over and over again, but here's the reality. Last year, if we just say 1 point difference, the Chiefs they scored 31 twice last year, and I think they scored 40 once. So really, I mean, if you make it 31, the Chiefs only scored over 31 once last year, and they went and won a Super Bowl. So why am I bringing that up? Because it's just about being opportunistic when you get in the playoffs. Can the Bills defense rise to the occasion in the playoffs and they outscore somebody? That's really what you got to do. And they're relatively healthy. They were banged up a little yesterday in the secondary. Matt Milano obviously leaves. Ugh. But if it's like we've said, if it's guys that are coming back and they're not out for the year, that's when you start to go, all right, we still got a chance, because it is just about how you play in those playoff games.
Yeah. And speaking of being banged up, I don't think Detroit feels bad for anybody right now with what they've gone through. They lose McNeil. He tears his ACL. Carlton Davis on Sunday. He fractures his jaw and has to have surgery. Now we're hearing that Montgomery is out with an MCL, and it's just been injury after injury. And it's just a matter of when is it going to catch up to him? I think defensively, obviously, it has caught up to them, but they've been so good on offense. It gets me back to the point. Now they're tied with Philly and Minnesota with their 2 losses, and they have to get home field advantage. And it's a much bigger deal for them if Philly gets home field advantage than Minnesota, because Minnesota's in a dome as well. I just think they're such a better team when they're inside. And that Philly game is a horrible matchup for them if they have to go to Philadelphia to play that game.
Well, Fitz, I know you were scared to make a prediction a few weeks ago, but somebody told you that the best team in the NFC by the end of this season was going to be the Philadelphia Eagles. But I get it. Hey, listen, you're a QB. I know how you guys work. Hey, I'd rather take the sack and run out of bounds. I'd rather just get down. Don't throw the incompletion. No. And that's kind of where you were at a couple weeks ago. I want the seeding to be able to pick my playoff favorite.
I don't know how you – but the NFC is going to be a bloodbath. Just looking at all the teams, it's going to be an absolute bloodbath. The Bucks can kind of score with anybody, and they beat Philly and Detroit this year, so that's going to be interesting. But I don't want to get away from this Detroit team because we had a big man touchdown. Dan Skipper gets in the end zone.
Danny.
We had 2 of them this weekend.
Jonah Williams, fumble recovery.
Jumped on a fumble in the end zone. But I believe, you've told me this multiple times, but you had a touchdown in your career, Whit. How does it feel to get in the end zone?
I think I've brought it up every time an offensive lineman ever touches a football in a game. But, hey, listen, Dan Skipper, man, this is a long time coming, Fitz. If we remember the tackle eligible play last year where Taylor Decker catches it, Dan Skipper has become the fan favorite in Detroit. Every time he reports eligible, they do a lot of 6-0 lineman stuff. So the fans go crazy every time he checks in.
I'd go Jared Goff 1, Dan Skipper 2, probably.
It's it. We're going to start getting Skipper chants now after the touchdown. So Skipper gets his touchdown, his first NFL touchdown. Not his first NFL catch, but his first NFL touchdown. I will have to tell you, Fitz, I did score a touchdown, and it was on my birthday. I have the football right here. Look at that.
What year?
In Heinz Field, 2010.
Okay.
Yep. Melissa was pregnant with the twins, Drew and Sarah, were in her belly. It was on my birthday, December 12th, 2010. Carson Palmer, first drive of the game, get down to the 2-yard line, a little 42 ISO play fake, and I released Lamar Woodley, I believe. And I think my good buddy Ryan Clark was actually supposed to be covering me.
Oh, no, Rhino.
Oh, yeah, Rhino. So I released to the flat, caught a touchdown pass, good spike in the end zone right there in front of the Steelers fans. There's nothing better than scoring your offensive line touchdown, but also in Heinz Field was even better. And the best part about it is because I didn't know if it happened or not, my wife and how crazy she gets. I knew how nervous she would get. So I was like, you know what? I'm not going to tell her because I don't think it's really likely they're going to call it.
Right.
I thought it was just hey, since it's your birthday week, we're going to put it in. And sure enough, they call it on the first drive of the game. And I'm pretty sure Melissa peed on the floor of the living room when it happened. And I got cussed out after the game because she was about 26 weeks pregnant with the twins. So, it was a memorable experience. I'll say it that way.
Oh, by the way, quick sidebar to that. Now that you bring up Ryan Clark, I threw out a tweet this last week. People make fun of me. Friends make fun of me about my shirts all the time. Did you see what he was wearing at the Cowboys game? Can you just can you ask him to tone it down a little bit? I know you guys are buddies, and I know he's got a sense of style that is different than my or your sense of style, but can we tone it down a little bit?
Listen, the guy is out to make a statement, okay? He's got a lot of confidence, and he's trying to make statements, all right?
Yeah, I got you. I'm going to get you an AW pin to put on your lapel.
You going to give me an AW?
Yeah, I think that'd be great.
I think I'd actually wear it probably.
Yeah.